All right. Good afternoon, and welcome to our webinar this afternoon called "Building a Future: A Student's Guide to Digital Wallets and LERs, or Learning and Employment Records." So today we're going to be taking a look at the Alabama Talent Triad, what it is, kind of how it's valuable, not only to all Alabamians, but especially to your students, how you also can help. And then we're also going to end with a live demo in the Alabama Talent Triad, look at a couple different accounts from a couple different perspectives, student and job seeker, and then also the career coach perspective. I am Troy Thomas, the Director of Business Development with EBSCO Ed, supporting everything that has to do with the Alabama Talent Triad. Couple of housekeeping items. If you have any questions, please put those in the chat and we'll be sure to answer those. I think I'm going to take a couple minutes in between the presentation and before we go to the live demo. And then also, if there are any at the end, we'll be sure to answer those as well. And then also, this is being recorded, so it will be made available on our website as well if you want to come back and reference anything. All right, so why was the Alabama Talent Triad created? Well, it was really in response to a goal the state and Governor Ivey set of adding 500,000 credentialed Alabamians to the workforce. And that was done to not only increase the skilled workforce, but also help with increasing the labor force participation rate. The state lags behind the national average, or I should say Alabama as a state lags behind the national average. And by just increasing the participation rate by just 1 point adds 50,000 Alabamians back into the workforce, which, as you can imagine, is a significant economic impact. So in order to do this, the state really needed a workforce ecosystem that could bring together employers, education training providers, and students and job seekers so they could collaborate and really build that bridge between education and workforce. It also needed to be an ecosystem that could bring transparency to what students have learned and earned and how that's applicable to the types of jobs and roles that employers are looking to fill by making skills that common denominator. Most people would have a hard time articulating what they have learned, especially high school students. And certainly when it comes to job searching and resumes. And there's just so many things, so many ways that high school kids or just people in general are learning skills. Things like the CT classes, the college and career readiness indicators, dual enrollment, all of the clubs, co-ops, internships, apprenticeships, all those things that they're doing, they're earning skills from all of those, which is great, but it should be accounted for somewhere. And part of what the Alabama Talent Triad is helping to do is make sure that all learning counts and making it easier for everyone to be able to articulate that and get connected to jobs. So it is a talent triad. There are three components. The main one we're going to be talking about today is the LER and digital wallet component, which is for students and job seekers. There's also a skills-based job portal for employers where they can kind of take their traditional job descriptions, transform them into skills-based job descriptions, so really taking their traditional ones, enhancing them with skills, and then that allows for there to be a skills match. And then the final piece is the Alabama Credential Registry, which is really a place for all education and training providers to come and park their certificates, licenses, credentials, degrees, and really unbundle those down to the skill level so that when students earn those, they can sync them in their wallet and also all the skills that are associated with those. And that's what ultimately helps them get connected to jobs. And this really is, we talk to multiple states regularly on a weekly basis, and no other state is really close to having really anything that compares to the Alabama Talent Triad, where all three of those pieces kind of work together. Some states have one piece or this piece, but no one really has what Alabama has, and it really is a first in the nation solution. And something that everyone in Alabama really should be proud of. So while this is a state initiative, the state knew to really have success, they needed to have investment from multiple government agencies, from education training providers, and they really needed workforce invested into this project. And by investment, I don't mean dollars, I mean engagement and adoption. And that's happening. The exciting part is it's happening. The Department of Workforce, ALSDE, ACCS, Adult Ed, chambers of commerce, career centers, I think 19 of the government agencies, and most importantly, companies across the state from all 16 in-demand job industries are all interoperating and engaging with the Talent Triad, and that's only going to continue to happen as more and more companies sign up, and also as we start getting the job seekers in. So as these students are starting to sync their wallets at the high school level, at the community college level, at the 4-year level, that's only going to bring more and more companies to want to have their jobs as part of the Talent Triad. And so, we're excited to have so many great partners, and we're excited to be a partner as well. But what makes it different? What makes it different from LinkedIn? What makes it different from Indeed, Smart Resume, or really any of those other workforce solutions or resume solutions that kind of already exist out there in the marketplace? So one is it's not an isolated solution. It's not for a particular school district or school system. This is really a statewide solution for every Alabamian and every employer across the state. Two is it helps, like I mentioned, bring that transparency of what students have earned and learned by making skills that common denominator. Third is the Alabama Talent Triad is interoperating directly with the student information systems at the high schools, at the college level, so directly with PowerSchool and Banner at the college level. And that's helping to validate the credentials that are in the students' wallets, which is very different from a LinkedIn and those other Smart Resume applications, where the majority of what's in their profiles out there is all self-attested. And I'll show you that in a live demo, how that verification or validation works. Number 4 is when you create a digital wallet in the Alabama Talent Triad, you'll be supported through retirement. So you won't have to create a high school wallet, where you can sync and add some skills and credentials, then, create a new college wallet that has skills and credentials. And then when you leave there, have to create, a separate wallet. This is a single wallet that you're going to have be supported from the state on. Really, we say from kindergarten through retirement. So you'll just have a single interoperating Alabama Talent Triad wallet that can sync your learning and employment records and will follow you for your whole educational and workforce careers. And then 5, by having EBSCO as a partner, is we're going to continue to be able to receive feedback from career coaches, from students, from employers, and just continue to improve upon, make customizations, anything to help make the Alabama Talent Triad grow and continue to improve upon. We're going to be able to continue to do that. So it's not an off-the-shelf solution, and we're going to continue to make sure that it meets the needs and goals across the state. So on that last slide, I mentioned digital wallets and smart resumes, and those really are pretty commonplace in today's digital era. But what they lack are the validated learning and employment records. So LERs are what really allow you to create those kind of next-gen resumes that can tell the full story of your educational career, your experiences, and help interpret those and see how they align to different career pathways, and really for employers too to better understand. This is especially important for students who have developed their skills through a wide range of experiences, like in the classroom, through an apprenticeship, on-the-job training, or even through the military. They essentially bring to life, what you have learned and earned, and help keep you prepared for what's next. So if you need a summer job, you're looking for your first job, you want to just switch jobs, by having your digital wallet with LERs, with all of the skills and credentials in your LERs all synced, you'll always be ready and prepared for that next step. I find this statistic crazy, but it says that people who are newly entering the workforce will change jobs 12 to 16 times throughout their career. So now more than ever, being able to articulate what you know and can do and how your skills are transferable between industries is only going to continue to become more and more important, especially with the way that technology is advancing and changing. So it's just only going to continue to, become more and more important. In addition to the benefits for students and job seekers, LERs and the Alabama Talent Triad also provide benefits to the state and employers across the state. So by being able to provide insight into the state talent pipeline, the state and employers can better understand where and how they can make additional investments to help spur economic growth across the state. As an example, we attended the Automotive Manufacturers Conference recently, and they're looking to expand to build both gas and electric vehicles in the state. The expansion of that industry could bring billions of dollars to Alabama. So having that strong pipeline of students and workers, is really imperative to growing industries like the automotive industry and bringing, different and new industries to the state. We also get regular calls from employers who have jobs they're looking to fill immediately and just haven't been able to do so with, those other solutions like LinkedIn and Indeed. What they need is a solution like the Alabama Talent Triad that can centralize learning and workforce opportunities, make them easier to find, and then is able to recommend and fill those types of needs more organically by making matches, all based on those skills that are going to exist in the wallet. And then, finally, by helping bridge the gaps between education and workforce and providing a way for industries to better communicate their needs, the Alabama Talent Triad can better respond to meet labor market challenges, across the state, like for instance, knowledge and skills gaps. So employers, by adding skills to their job descriptions, can signal to the education training providers what they're looking for. Maybe the types of jobs they're looking to fill aren't being met by the programs, or the talent pipeline that's currently being put out. So if they're signaling to education training providers what they need, then they can make adjustments, changes to help meet those needs. So the Alabama Talent Triad is going to be valuable to students and job seekers in many ways. We just talked about the LERs and how they're going to be valuable, but with those synced, they'll also be able to get personalized, recommended career pathways based on the skills and experiences in their wallet. And employers today are placing more and more emphasis on durable and soft skills as requirements for jobs. Skills like communication, leadership, critical thinking, problem solving, time management, planning skills, all skills that are being gained from basic high school curriculum and extracurriculars that they are involved in. Skills they are gaining today and that should be accounted for, and that they can note within their wallet and have in their skills-based resume to get noticed by employers. They're also going to get recognition for their real-world experiences. So those co-ops, those internships, apprenticeships that they're completing. Through those experiences, students are provided with opportunities to gain that real-world experience, and that should also be accounted for as well. So how can you guys help? Well, one is, the opt-in letter for students went out on September 6th. So I'd be curious to know, if you want to type in the chat, what your experience has been with the opt-in so far. Have you had many questions about it from students, from parents? Do you even know what the opt-in letter is? Was there communication about it? Excuse me. So I'd just be curious to know what your experience has been like so far. We have seen on our end, those starting to get signed and come back, but I'd love to hear from you guys, what your experience has been so far. This is a sample of the opt-in letter that went home. And just to clarify, students can still create an account even without the opt-in letter. What the opt-in allows them to do is to be able to sync their credentials and skills from the school system. So while creating the wallet in an account is still valuable, it becomes even more valuable if they have this opt-in letter completed that allows them to have those validated skills and credentials in their wallet. Advocate for your students to sign up. Advocate for them to not only sign up, but to invest in themselves and continuously update, sync their wallets, help them build those skills-based resumes that are ultimately going to get them connected to employers. This is going to be a building process, and the more that they continue to build upon and create those skills-based resumes, the better chance, or the better chance that they're going to have of being connected to employers based on the skills and credentials that are in their wallet. How does it work? So I think this will be great for you guys to know. So when you're working with your students, obviously you'll know how it works, so then you can be an advocate and helping them get signed up. So AlabamaTalentTriad.com is the website. It's built for desktop, for mobile. Apps will be coming out soon as well, so you'll be able to access it virtually from anywhere. When you come on to the site, you will see a sign up, it's free button. That's where you can click and it'll bring you to the sign up screen. For new users, it'll ask you for first name, last name, email, username and password, and you click sign up. If you already have an account, you would just click the login to log into your account. Again, I'll show this on the live demo. And then from there, once students have their account, is really where they can come in and start to add those credentials and skills, or sync those credentials and skills. So here we're at the Add Credentials site. And again, I think going to the live demo will be helpful. So I'll show you where this is at. But when they're in My Wallet, they can add credentials. They would choose sync, and they would choose from a drop-down list of providers. They'll choose ALSDE, and then they would be asked for their student ID and last name, and they would click sync credentials. There's also other ways for them to upload credentials. So they can upload a PDF or a JPEG of a credential. If it's a online or digital credential, they can insert the code behind their credential. They can also, some of the digital credential providers have links, so they can insert the URL for the credential as well. So with the credential registry, when they sync a credential, the skills that are associated with it will automatically populate in their wallet. So, the verified credential, along with the skills associated with it that are verified, will automatically populate, but they can also still have the opportunity to self-attest. So, excuse me, like a LinkedIn, they can still self-attest to skills. So to do that, they would just click Add Skills, and then they would choose Add Skills from Database here on the screen. And then they can just come in and type, so patient care, communication, and they can just simply click skills from the database to add to their account. Now those are going to show as self-attested, and I'll show that in the live demo as well. And then they can add experiences, anything like co-ops, extracurriculars, any type of experiences that they think are important, to showcase to employers. They can certainly add those into their account as well. Once they have their credentials, skills, and experiences loaded into their account, they can now use those to create a skills-based resume, which is really going to help make that skills match for job opportunities. So they would click the resume builder, and from there, there will be a create resume opportunity, and they can pre-fill some of the information, from their profile, and then they'll simply just be able to click over the credentials, skills, and experiences that they want to highlight in their resume. And just also, I want to highlight that until they actually click publish and share their resume, none of the information in their account will be shared with employers. So all of their information they own, and none of it is shared with employers until they wish that to be seen. So the only time that it will be shared is once they click that publish and share resume. And that's when not only can they get job recommendations, but they will also be recommended to employers for any open positions. Nope, so that's that publish and share resume. And then here's where they can look at their recommended jobs. So on this menu screen, they'll see recommended jobs. They would choose the resume that they want to see the recommended jobs for, and those will populate here. And I'll definitely cover this in the live demo as well. All right, and then also there is a case manager or career coach experience as well. So for those of you who wish to sign up, I would highly recommend. It's a great way to work with your students and help them make sure that their account is being synced, that they're building those resumes so that they can ultimately, be connected with jobs. So once you have your account, under partner sign up, you can click sign up as a case manager / career coach. It's going to ask you for some questions, and it'll go through an approval process. And then you'll be approved as a career coach. And then when you log in, you would click over here to the left, which I'll show as well. But you could click that. There's 2 arrows here that we can't see, but you can make sure that you're in your career coach experience, and you'll be able to see the students that you're working with. Here we go, case manager. So you click the 2 arrows here, and it'll bring a little drop-down menu, and you can select the case manager role. And that's where you can come in and, like I said, create new learners, help sign your students up for their accounts, help them build their wallets. You can then, help them create those skills-based resume, and then, ultimately help them get connected with job opportunities. Students have the capability on their end to remove you. So if ultimately your time with them is done and they want to remove you from their account, they have that opportunity within their account, and then it'll request for them to create a new password. Just to leave you with a couple training assets and support links. So there is some self-guided trainings for students, for teachers, I believe also for families, which I don't have linked on here, and then also for employers. There are several webinars that have been recorded as well that you can find out there, and just tons of other resources that I will show you as well on the live demo, which we're going to hop into now. Oh, and here's our social accounts. So please follow those so that you can stay up to date with any new features or updates that are happening as well. All right, Brittany, I'm going to ask you why I'm sharing my other screen to go through any questions that were asked.
So there were a couple, Troy. One, I'll just say I addressed, but we can just say it for anybody else who may be curious. Can you send the presentation slides to share?
Certainly. We'll send those over to Mark, who can send those out for everyone. If he hasn't already, we'll definitely make sure he has those.
And then the next question is, what student information is being shared besides CRIs? And is there more MOU and is there an MOU in place with ALSDE regarding student data security?
Yes. So there are, well, first to address any type of micro credential through like an apprenticeship, through CTE, and I'll show you what those look like in their wallet. But those are being shared in here. And then yes, as far as data sharing, privacy, we have all of that taken care of from a legalese perspective. So again, it's up to the student or parent for them to have that opt in, and then the student decides what is being shared out. If they don't want to share anything, that's totally up to them, and I'll show you where that is under their account profile as well. Anything else, Brittany?
Nope, that was it.
Okay. So here, can you see my screen, Brittany?
Yes, we can see the Triad screen.
I started last time and I wasn't sharing my screen. So, so here is like I mentioned, the sign up, it's free. And then just your standard login button. But then down here at the bottom are a ton of other resources. I mentioned the employer, student, family, teacher training. There are several webinars and custom trainings that are recorded, and then just tons of other resources for you guys, for students, job seekers, families that are out here to explore as well. So I'm going to go ahead and log into a demo account of a student. All right. First off, I want to come over to profile. So this is where a student can fill in as much or as little of their profile as they want. I think the only requirement is an email address, yes, which has the red star here. So they don't have to share anything else about themselves. And the email is just so they can get contacted by employers if they want to get contacted by employers, or for any updates about the site as well. But here's the profile privacy section. This will have a toggle on, toggle off button for them to be able to turn off sharing or not sharing their profile. Also, even if they have that toggle on, they won't be shared until they create that that skills-based resume and choose to share that. All right, so we're going to come back up to My LER. So again, that's the top option in the menu. And we are in credentials. Here is the add credentials feature and where they can sync. So they would simply choose ALSDE, career and technical education. And like I mentioned, they would input their student ID and last name and click, sorry, flew through that. And then they would click the sync credentials button, and any credentials that they've earned will then appear in their wallet. So this student has construction finishing and interior systems, fundamentals of agri-science, introduction to public safety, emergency services and management. But they've also received a phlebotomy certification from the Alabama Community College System. And then, like I mentioned, any skills that are associated with those credentials will also appear in their wallet. So you can see the validated skills are showing here with the check mark. So these are ones associated with the phlebotomy, but they can also still self-attest as well. So adding a skill is very easy as well if the student chooses to self-attest. So they would click the add skill. They can just come in and start typing. So if we just choose communication, there's a ton of skills that are going to pop up for them to choose, and they can just add those to their account by clicking that and clicking add skills. If they are completing an apprenticeship, they can also connect with the apprenticeship through Work Hands and add skills that are associated with that apprenticeship as well. And then finally, for experiences, they can add any experiences. So volunteering, any clubs that they're participating in, anything that they think is going to be valuable to share with employers, they would click Add Experience, give that a title. If there is an employer or sponsor, so if it's a club through the school, they would want to, put their high school. If it's volunteer, freelance, etc., choose that, the location, and then just some other pertinent information about that experience. Once they have those things completed in their wallet is when they can come and start to really build out a resume. So we'll look at ones that are already built in the student's profile, but also very easy to come in. They would give this resume a name, and then they can fill in some information from their profile. So if they have that biography, the objective, that will automatically populate. And then they just click which credentials that they want to highlight. So if they want to highlight, here we would probably want the introduction to public safety and emergency services and management highlighted. And then they can also, for this, the same thing for the skills, they would come down and just click the skills that they want to highlight as well. And then same thing for experiences. They can also add supporting documents. So if they have a cover letter, any other type of documents that they want to highlight, they can add those as well. Now, they can also just create the resume and just have that draft ready because they want to maybe continue to build upon that resume. So, maybe they're just going to save this as a draft. It is not shared out in the ecosystem. That way they can just continuously build and add on to that resume until they think it's ready, and they want to share that out into the ecosystem. Once they're ready to do that, they would click the publish and share resume, which will then be shared out, not only for them to get job recommendations, but also for them to be recommended to employers. So we'll take a look at recommended jobs. So when they come in here, the screen's going to be blank at first because it's going to ask them to choose which resume they want to see the job recommendations for. So if we choose the phlebotomy resume, it's going to show us jobs that will get recommended to them, based on that resume. They can interact, so they can bookmark jobs, thumbs up, thumbs down. That's going to help the machine learning learn about what types of jobs they're looking for, so they can either if they're thumbs upping, continue to recommend jobs that are similar, or if they thumbs down a job, the machine learning is going to learn about that and say, we know this student doesn't want to see any more jobs like that. If they see a job that they like, or that further, make contact, whichever way that the employer wants them to. So if that's apply on the company's site, however the employer wants them to apply is how it's going to show up on the job requisition. And then finally, coming soon, so I hear in the next 2 to 3 weeks, is a recommended learning. So that's going to be able to look at what the student currently has in their profile and be able to make recommendations on a particular career pathway. So if they've taken several courses, maybe they only need several more to get an associate's degree, or to be recommended for a particular job. So that's where they can come in and see what other opportunities from an education perspective are available to them to help advance their their educational career, and then also get them into better jobs as well. All right, I think that's it from a student perspective. I do want to log out real quick and come back in. We have another demo account as a career coach, so bear with me. I know we're about 5 minutes over, but I just want to show you real quick. So again, partner sign up. So once you're logged into your account, sign up as case manager, career coach. And then once you've been approved, you should see under your account profile, refresh this. You should see under your drop down that the case manager or career coach role. And once you select to go in that role is where you'll see the learners and earners that you help sign up or that are assigned to your career coach role. You can create new learners. So that's where you can help the students get signed up, work with them to create their username and their account. Again, those users that you sign up will then roll up under your account, and you continuously check in, sign in for them, help them sync their wallets, help them build those resumes, and just work with them throughout this building process to make sure that they're getting all their credentials synced, all the skills that are necessary for them synced into their wallet, and help them build that skills-based resume that's ultimately going to help them get connected to jobs or make learning recommendations too for them to continue their career that way. Like I mentioned, the student has every opportunity to then at some point remove a career coach from their account and make it their own. It'll prompt them to create a new password. All right, I think that's all I had to cover. Did any other questions pop up, Brittany?
Yes, but I answered it in the chat. But if you want to know the question, the question was, if the student chooses not to sync or opt in, can they manually put in credentials on their own?
Got it. Yes, they would. There is those other options to be able to upload, a JPEG or PDF. So there is an opportunity for them to still upload them on their own. It just won't show as a verified credential, which is a much more valuable way for it to show up. But they will still have that opportunity to create their wallet and upload those credentials.
It looks like someone else is typing a question, so I'll let you know when that one is entered. Okay, Mark says, oh, that's Mark saying if you need the slide deck, please let Mark know and he will send it to you. So Mark will send the slide decks to you.
Yes, and if you're talking with your students and they or their parents have not heard about or seen the opt-in, I guess you could reach out to Mark too for that to have that sent home as well. Just to make sure that they're able to sync their wallets. Like I mentioned, this was being recorded, so will be posted out on the website under those either the webinars or custom trainings, so that it'll be there, for you to rewatch if you need to.
The replay will be available in the email follow-up I send out as well.
I did just see a question. I can show you real quick what it looks like to log in from the employer perspective. And employers, this is also one way that makes it different from a LinkedIn or Indeed, is employers do not search for candidates. So it's not a fishing expedition for them, as they get candidates recommended to them based on the skills that they fill out for the job. So let's go in and see. We have a demo employer account, which you could see. We got to go into my employer portal. So this demo employer has several skills-based jobs out here, but for them, when they see candidates, so it'll recommended candidates they would come to. And then similar to when the student or job seeker selects their resume, the employer would select which job that they want to see recommendations for. So let's just go to the licensed practical nurse. And they would see candidates show up this way. So, CNA resume, right now it's showing some of the from the pilot data. So it's saying, their accounts that were created during the pilot that would have matched. So it's showing matches that way. But this is how an employer would see a match. And then, like I said, they can establish that contact with whoever that person is You know, if that's through an email address, they can also see that candidate's resume by clicking on them. They have the same opportunity as well to thumbs up, thumbs down, so they can see their bio, objective, credentials, skills, etc., that are part of that candidate's resume. So another question, how many employers are using the Alabama Talent Triad? So at last count that I saw was 150 plus, along with the state personnel office as well. And then also as part of the recommender, we have all of the jobs from alabamaworks.com as well. So there are many more employers who aren't necessarily signed up for an account, but their jobs are being recommended to candidates through Alabama Works, but recommended through the Alabama Talent Triad. All right, I'm going to, there's one more typing. I'll give a minute or two for that one to finish, and then I think we'll sign off here. Nope, looks like maybe they stopped. All right, well, again, feel free to reach out to myself or Brittany for any additional questions. We're happy to jump on, you know, a Teams meeting or a phone call, or just answer anything via email. So again, feel free to reach out to us for any additional questions. We didn't get them answered in the webinar. Thank you all for your time today. And, you know, we hope you, see the value in using this with your students. Thanks, and have a great rest of your day.